so I'm just going to focus on a few areas that I want a bit brighter. So I'm going to use cadmium yellow, the green, but I'm going to make it really bright, so much more cadmium yellow in with it than I had before. Push, get a little ridge of paint, as we always do, on the brush by just pushing it into the paint like so. And then where I want these really nice little bright spots, I can just touch with that. Because there's a lot of paint on it first, I'll keep the brush moving. Just up in here, there's a few. It's really bright. And I'm being gentle, I'm not pressing too hard. Just on the ends of there, I can brighten that up. That's fine. Up in this area here, you can see quite a bit through these trees. Some quite light areas where the sunlight's actually hitting. See it. Just a tiny bit of sap green in with cadmium yellow and a little bit, a tiny bit of white too. And that'll stand out just in between there too. I'm going to vary it backwards and forwards through the darks and the lights, you see. But I know where I need it to be lightest. And that's what really matters. And all the highlighted areas that are really lit up, I'm just going to touch, brighten them up a tad. There's a few little spots just in there. And there. Always put the dark backing over it if you overdo it, like just tapped a bit too much of the light in there. So I can just leave that for now. Put a bit more dark in there before we're finished. But yeah, it just helps to brighten it up a bit. That sunlight shining through there and zinging through. But same with these. Need to actually come out a little bit further. Like so, I'm standing right out in that sunlight. Usually by going over it twice with acrylics, it makes it stand out much brighter and better. Just zinging in that sunlight is that. I'm going to put a little brighter brush there, which has got a bit more white in it. So it's really bright, and just there. I'll touch that in. So that's just been hit by that sunlight. Zine is that colour. A few brighter spots just here and there. Just not too much. A lot of it's going to get covered up. A few areas on the ends of there where it's nice and green. Got a tree coming up into there as well, which is got a little glow to it as well. It's dark, but it's got some lit up green behind it. So by putting that in now, and when I put the green over the top of that, that'll work. There. I think we're getting somewhere. Right, so I'm just going to go back to my dark greens now, which is sap green, a little bit of blue, a little bit of black, just a darker green, much darker. Just in there, so just indicate that there's a little bush just sitting there. And that green glow will just stand out a bit behind it. A bit darker than that. Once you go that little bit darker, just in the shadows areas, you can just darken it off a tad. Put some branches up to that and stuff. Something like what I was wanting. Right, a bit dark at the base of that. A few branches and stuff coming up into here, but I'm not going to kill all that. I'm just going to gently put some little leaves in, and then put some branches up to it. Something like so. That's better. Get some lighter green. Highlight the odd little bit. And just let some zinging through a bit. Yeah. Happy. Put a few of them lighter greens down in there too. So yeah, just a few dark greens even. Just into those, because I did it really dark before, you see. Now these stand out. Even though it's a dark green I'm using, it's lighter than the dark colours that's on there, so it stands out now. That's it. Don't want it good and dark, you know, but I still want them to be nice and a lot of variety in the greens. It's up in there. It's all canopy leaves and branches. I'm going to get a bit of a lighter colour, so I can make a lighter green. And just here and there. Touch that. Tiny bit brighter. The brush is starting to get a tiny bit overloaded now, so you'll notice that it doesn't stand out as much, it doesn't show the dark through it, and that's not a good point, so I'm just going to be gentle with it, because I know there's a lot of paint on there. Put a few lighter areas here and there, just in that. Even down into there, there's some very gentle, just with some white. I'll mix with that green and just make it a bit brighter. I sometimes do that with acrylics anyway. I'll paint in white and then a light green over the top. Some nice branches and stuff, and we've got a big tree here, and then they're going to come right over, much darker, into there now. just over in here, there's quite a bit of foliage still. Even up in there, you can see bits of foliage, fruit branches. We'll leave a gap in the sky just in there, where the branch just comes out up to, up there it is. I want that to stand out as though they're a bit closer to these, because these will be more for this tree. So, pop some of that in there. Some of the darks over the top of the lighter yellows that I put in before. I will block that right out completely in there. I'll be nice and dark. Solid, and then I'll put a bit of sky showing through up in here. That stuff. Now this here is going to come down to about there. Just want it to be really dark at the base. Yet still have the greens in there. So just in here I can tap a few highlights and stuff in. Might be a bit low for the camera, so I'll stop here. Let that dry now. Right, so I've just mixed up a brown by using vermilion red, sap green together, and a tiny bit of black just to darken it off a bit. And then with that, I've got a tree in the background just up in here. Sitting there in the background is that. So I'm just going to paint that in at this stage. And then it disappears off behind the big trees. And I'll be putting a few leaves over this as well to make it sit down nicely. It's just a lighter one that's going to be further away in that background. Now I've still got the brush here with the greens on. So what I'll do, I'll just go over that slightly here and there and just tap some leaves over it. So it just sits back in there nicely. And then do the same thing but with the darker colour now. So I need more black in it. Quite a lot more black. Make a more like a Van Dyke brown now. See that? Very dark brown in there. But the brown is to the red side when you're mixing it with the green. A bit more red than green. And then with that I'll try that out, see how it works. So we've got a tree coming up in here and it just starts to show itself there. Quite a biggish one. And it comes down to about there it is. So feel that like that. Then I'll highlight one side and leave one side dark. And then just in front of this tree here I've got a big one that comes right through in front of that. And this one's got a lot of ivy growing on it as this tree. I'll let that dry probably and then be able to go over it again. But yeah, I want that to be quite prominent in there. There's a few branch offs and disappears off up in there. and this vanishes into all the leaves and reappears a few times, so I'll put some nice branches and stuff into that, and then one arm coming out from there. This is a rough guide what I'm doing at the moment, very rough guide. It's not how I want it to be, it's a lot bigger than this tree, so I'm really, don't want it to go too big too quick, you see, that's the thing. Yeah, I'm happy with that for this stage, because I'm going to use my liner brush for the smaller branches. I've got quite a few branches that I'm going to want to put over in there too, so that's good though, I'm happy with that stage. Just tap a bit there for that. A couple of little branches off here and there. Cool.